Hello, everybody. Welcome to TrendSpider Live. My name is Mike, and today we're coming at you live to check out the earnings report for Webull and Intuit. If you guys are out there in the chat, feel free to drop something in the chat. Tell me what you're looking at today. Obviously, we're going to be watching right now the Webull earnings, which are going to be coming out as soon as the market closes here. Actually, Intuit's coming out right as the market closes, and we'll get Webull's earnings reports about 5 to 10 minutes, I believe, after the bell. So stick around for a live analysis and chart reaction to the Webull earnings. Hello, Hardeep. Good to see you out there. Thank you for coming through. What are you watching this afternoon? Obviously, we're going to do a quick deep dive here on Webull as the earnings announcement comes around. So what I'm going to do first of all is open up our sidekick, as of course, pretty much every time I go to analyze a stock these days, honestly, sidekick is one of my first things I open. How's it going? Looking for your inputs on Webull. Yes, we are definitely going to cover Webull. Hello, Bachelor. What happened to the market? Well, let's take a look at the overall market here for a second. And by the way, the platform that we're going to be using to analyze the market today is called TrendSpider. You can see it right here on your screen. And we are currently running our Black Friday sale. So if you guys wanted to follow along with what I'm doing today, we are running our Black Friday sale, and you can get a trial of the platform for just $7. So definitely take a look at the link in the description below. Click on it and you can follow along for just $7. And yeah, as you can see, I just pulled up NVIDIA on my chart right now. As you can see, it is not looking very good. How's it going, SJD News? But if you guys weren't around for our live yesterday, I was live with Fabio, who is the CEO of Mentor Q, and we were watching one, the FOMC minutes, and two, the NVIDIA earnings report. And as you can see, NVIDIA did perform pretty well after, as they reported earnings here yesterday after market around the same time. And then this morning, they completely gave all their gains away and then some, and they're actually still making new lows right now. TrendSpider, you can actually trade on TrendSpider. You just have to connect Signal Stack, and you can use the trading widget right over here. You can add it to the left on your panel. And once you actually connect a broker, you can see a giant list of the supported brokers, and you'll be able to buy and sell right from the chart. It is literally instant. I use Signal Stack all the time. I rely on it probably a little bit too much. But yeah, it's great. You definitely can trade from TrendSpider. You can even turn alerts into orders in your broker. For example, if I set an alert on this gamma wall 0 DTE level right here, and I set up an alert, and I just put in a note that you would get from Signal Stack that is a note to place an order in your broker. So when this alert would fire, if it went ahead and broke through or even touched this line, it would automatically place a trade, whether it's buy or sell or stop out of your trade in your broker in real time. So you can. There's no delay in trading. So yeah, it's very, very nice to use to actually trade from as well. It's honestly pretty nice because sometimes I don't even open my broker these days. I just use alerts to go ahead and route my orders to my broker. So yeah, it's very, very nice to use. As you can see, NVIDIA is not looking super good. They reported earnings yesterday, and they're coming down to this this gamma wall 0 DTE level here on the Mentor Q suite. And by the way, let me go ahead and drop the Black Friday sale link in the chat. So if you guys wanted to follow on, check out TrendSpiders, click the link in the chat or in the description below, and you can go ahead and check us out. Again, for just $7 today. And for the next few days for our Black Friday sale. Black Friday is absolutely the best time to hop on most things. It's going to be the best deal of the year. But anyways, let's get back to Webull. Who out there is watching Webull or trading Webull? I'm curious to see if anyone is in it. I think it's an interesting play. But first off, like I said, we're going to use Sidekick, which is TrendSpider's AI, to do the analysis essentially for us. So I'm just going to throw in a prompt right here. It says, Webull reports earnings shortly after the bell. Do a pre-earnings deep dive and compare its revenue, EPS margins, price to sales, and cash flow to Hood, which is Robinhood. said be used to use charts and tables to compare these metrics, and then give a bull and bear case for bull case for bull. We'll just minimize that while it thinks and does all the research for us. You guys are in it. Okay, nice. I don't really have much Webull. I think I have like a few shares. I do honestly want to grab some Webull at some point. The chart to me just looks very bad, but you know, I think in the long run, it probably will be good. As you can see, the earnings down here, EPS just recently, I believe, flipped positive. Yeah, it was, I think they only have 2 quarters of earnings. So, I mean, there's not really much fundamental data to go off of in the first place. However, you know, I think it's a decent competitor for Robinhood. Robinhood is another stock that I do like. So let's see what Sidekick has to say about it. This is the daily chart here of Webull. And as I said, when this stock first came out, it had a massive run. Look at this. It went up, I don't know, like 500%, and literally just like a few days, it seems. Like, let me turn off after hours data here. It had a massive gap up on April 14th, but instantly gave back all of those gains. Yeah, I have a Webull account, but I don't really use it to trade myself. I am more of a Robinhood user and Schwab. But I don't hate on Webull. I think it's all right. Obviously, their stock could be looking better, but the overall market today itself is not looking good anyway. I mean, look at QQQ here, you guys. Honestly, a pretty disgusting day in the market. It was looking great at the start. You can see on this candlestick, QQQ opened at 611, and now we're at 586. So today, from open to where we're at now, that is a minus 4% day on QQQ. So not a great time for the bulls today. However, we are still, you know, how far are we from all-time highs? We are currently down, I don't know, about 5.3% from all-time highs, at least on the S&P 500. But yeah, definitely not the greatest or funnest day for the bulls. You can see here on the 5-minute chart, we obviously did gap up. NVIDIA earnings were great overnight, but almost instantly starting, you know, at 10:45 Eastern, I believe that is, pretty much no green candles here on the 5-minute chart, and it's been looking pretty ugly, you guys. Let's take a look at Webull on the 5-minute chart, because they will be reporting here in a bit. Let me see if our Sidekick has done. So here's our pre-earnings deep dive on Webull before it actually comes out. So let's take a look and see what Sidekick says. And again, if you guys wanted to try this, use the link I dropped in the chat or the description. Everybody gets some free Sidekick messages. You can try it out for, again, $7 today. So even if you want to just come in here and just do a bunch of fundamental analysis or technical analysis or whatever it is, it's connected to all of our data in Sidekick. You can do it for just $7 today. So here is what it says. Bull reports Q3 earnings today after market close, obviously. So expected results for Q3, EPS of 0.02 versus the 0.36 actual, 0.036 actual in Q2. And then they're expecting 135 million in revenue. So a little bit of an increase from 131 million from the last quarter. So I expected some growth. And you can see here, their last couple earnings reports were decent. They only have 2, but 117 million and 131 million in revenue, which is solid. Let's see what else we got here. What else did Sidekick pull for us? So as you can see here, I asked it to compare it to Hood because I think it's a very good stock to compare it to. Obviously, they're on completely different scales. Hood is 10 times larger, as it says right here, based on revenue. Hood has pretty much almost exactly 10 times the revenue per quarter, at least the last quarter, as Webull. 1.3 billion versus like 131 million. So, you know, a lot more room for growth, at least for Webull. Market cap on Webull is 3.8 billion. Hood is now 106 billion. We all know Robinhood has been crushing it. Here's a nice little chart, net profit margin comparison. Let's see. So Hood's margins have expanded dramatically from 6% to 43%, which is very good, as it obviously says for a fintech. And yeah, I guess not enough fundamental data is available on bull yet. Obviously, we're going to get some more today after the bell, but we're working with what we got. We have all the data from what we have, at least from the last couple of quarters. Let's take a look here. Yeah, Robinhood's gross margins are pretty nice, and operating margins also around 49.8% for the last quarter, which is very good, and they're getting better and better. So yeah, they're doing really good on Robinhood's end. Let's check out the free cash flow per share on Robinhood. As you can see, they went from negative in Q4 of 2024 to now positive. Had a really good quarter in Q2 2025. Sidekick here makes it very easy to see and can just chart, anything you want. If you have any data, Sidekick can make a nice chart out of it, or you can just tell it what you want to see, like I did. I didn't give it any data. I just said, pull what data you have for Hood and Bull and chart it out for me, and it did this. Price to sales for Bull is around 10, but Hood is around 35. So obviously about 3 times more expensive on Robinhood. Again, massive difference in 28 times the size and market cap for Webull versus Robinhood. Yeah, obviously Bull is performing significantly worse than Robinhood. If we pull them up, something that we have on TrendSpider is a price compare indicator. I can spell. Let's type price compare here. We have the Webull chart up, so I'm just going to type Hood, Robinhood, give it a white line so we can see it. And we can compare the charts right on the screen. As you can see, as Webull was essentially dying and bleeding, not going anywhere, Robinhood has been on a tear, but Robinhood has come down pretty significantly from its top as well. Kind of started becoming a little bit more correlated here once Robinhood started dying. This is the price compare indicator, by the way. Is TrendSpider providing JEX and 0DTE levels for ES futures? Yeah, so it is an external custom indicator, but we do have the Mentor Q gamma levels here that I can pull up. Let me pull up the ES real quick. Pull up the 15-minute charts and do end of day. So yeah, you can see we have 10 different JEX levels. This is all provided by Mentor Q. If you actually wanted to see our live stream with the CEO of Mentor Q, the company who built this indicator and put it on our platform, you can watch the live stream from yesterday. But here is the indicator itself right here. You can see it has the 1-day minimum, 1-day maximum, all these different JEX levels. And then here you can see all the different levels that they offer, the HVL, high volatility levels, and then there's put supports and call resistances, and then gamma walls. Lots of really nice stuff that it does plot on your charts. It does work for stocks, futures, and crypto. So yeah, we pretty much, you can chart anything on TrendSpider, even Forex too. This specific indicator doesn't work on Forex, but we have Forex data as well. So definitely check it out. We dropped the links down below in the chat so you can check out these indicators and get a discount on them right now for Black Friday. I definitely love these indicators because, especially for earnings, if I go back to Webull, I like to use them to check out the expected moves. I was doing this a little bit with Fabio, the CEO of Mentor Q, yesterday. But as you can see, the 1-day minimum and 1-day maximum are right here plotted on my charts, just clear levels. You don't have to sift through a bunch of data points and strike prices and all that stuff. They just put the levels right on the chart. Makes it real easy. And so, yeah, if you're, buying or selling options, this is kind of your 1-day minimum and 1-day maximum that you should be using to base your strikes off of probably. So yeah, definitely check these out. The 1-day max is sitting around 9 and the 1-day minimum is around 8. So 8 to 9, which is from this current price up 9.8%, essentially 10%, and to the downside minus 2%. So there's actually looks like a more bullish expected move here. So yeah, that is the expected move, or at least the 1-day minimum and a 1-day maximum. And keep in mind, there's 2 different ways to analyze with these gamma levels indicators, the intraday and daily or end of day. Intraday is going to recalculate consistently throughout the day. And you can see the last updated time is right up here. So very, very cool. Let me turn on after hours data because the market just closed. Let's take a look at what is going to go on. I know Intuit, I think, is reporting right as the bell closes. So let me go ahead and see if we can pull that up. Let me double check the time, but it should be right as the bell closes. So maybe we'll get some movement here on Intuit. And it looks like we are. We're getting a pretty nice candle here. See what happens. And I'm going to go ahead and add the news widget and see if we can get these live earnings as they happen. Let me close out Sidekick for a second so we can focus on this action. And there we go. Intuit earnings results are already here on the platform under the news widget. It says Intuit Q1 adjusted EPS beats 3.34, beats the 3.09 estimate. Sales 3.88 beat the 3.76 estimate. And Intuit on that news of a double beat was tanking and now it just shot right up. As I was about to say, it was tanking. Look at that. Crazy. We're on the 1 minute chart right now. So decent movement. If you guys are just joining the stream, right now we're looking at Intuit. And we are using TrendSpider to analyze all this stuff. We are in our Black Friday sale. So use the links down below if you wanted to follow along with what we are doing today for just $7. And also make sure to hit the like button and hit subscribe because we're going to be continuing to do these live streams for you guys pretty much indefinitely throughout the next months. We got a decent amount planned. You know, we got some earnings coming up. FOMC events will be live for all of them, or most of earnings, but definitely FOMCs. But thank you guys for joining. Glad to see you guys all out there. And Intuit just posted a double beat, and they are up on the news. So let's see. Let's refresh our news widget. Maybe they released guidance as well. Yeah, they did. So Intuit sees adjusted EPS 3.63, about 3.65 versus the 3.83 estimate, which I think is not very good. Yeah. The estimates for forward guidance was higher than what they are expecting, which is not good. You obviously want to see better forward guidance than that. And it looks like Intuit really has not moved a ton. Obviously, they had some movement, but they are sitting right around where they were as the markets closed. This is using aftermarket data. So yeah, interesting stuff here. And I am going to start probably a poll because this is for mostly Webull earnings. Let me double check the time for Webull. Webull is going to report here in about 13 minutes. And I'm curious, do you guys think Webull is going to beat earnings or do you think they're going to miss? So I'm going to make a poll so you guys can vote in the chat on YouTube. That is, if you're on X, I don't think we can do polls on X, but I'm going to make a poll here so you guys can vote. But let me know in the chat. What do you guys think? Are we going to beat or miss Webull earnings? I'm going to say, does Webull beat earnings? So just vote yes or no. Does Webull beat earnings? Curious to see what you guys say. And also, you can just let me know in the chat or vote. Looks like we're split 50-50 so far. A little bit more for yes, a little bit more for yes. We're getting some votes in. All right. A lot of people are seeming to think Webull is going to beat earnings. I hope so. Well, we'll see. Oh, look at that. Webull. They have not even report. Oh, they did report. EPS beat and sales miss. Okay. So, I mean, you guys were kind of half right for anyone that said beat. I mean, I guess anyone could have won that because they did a half beat. They beat EPS, but missed sales pretty bad. Look at that, you guys. EPS came in at 7 cents versus 2 cents estimate, which is good, but sales came in at 83 million, and they were expecting 135 million. That is not good. That is not good at all. Let me refresh this and see if there's anything else. But yeah, that could be a lot better, guys. But it looks like the stock so far has reacted relatively positive to that. Sorry for missing that, guys. The thing I used to check the times was obviously wrong. Yeah, look at this Webull earnings move. We are up about 4%. At the top, we moved up about 5%. And honestly, it's looking pretty good. So if you are in Webull, it seems like you are having a good time right now at 5%. Got the 1 minute chart up. And that expected move I was seeing was around 9, like 907 or like 807. So we have not hit the 1-day max yet. But interesting result, right? Has not come into here yet, but we did get the news that Webull missed their revenue by quite a bit. And I'm curious to see if they're going to report any sorts of, forward guidance. But if you guys are just joining in, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button because we're going to be going live throughout the rest of the next months after that with a bunch of different guests as well. So again, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you guys are alerted when we do. It says made 14% gain on Rev. I don't know. This Benzinga news desk is saying, from what I'm seeing, a $83 million quarter. Let me check. Yeah, I'm seeing 83 million, you guys. I'm seeing in multiple sources that should be correct. Sometimes earnings are weird, but it definitely seems to me from multiple sources here that they had a decent miss there on revenue. I'll check out Webull Investor Relations right now. Maybe it's non-adjusted that they are showing. Let's take a look. See, I see the conference call news. Earnings presentation. Let's take a look. Seems like net deposits were pretty good. Customer assets did increase. And Webull stock is currently dropping. If you guys are seeing anything else, let me know down in the chat. Interesting. Okay. That is weird. I saw on multiple sources that it came in at 83, but I guess people are saying it is not. Double checking right now. Where is the revenue, profits, and margins? Yeah, I am seeing on their website 156 million in revenues. Okay, so I guess they did beat 135 estimate, and they reported 156 million. I'm not sure why these other sources were wrong, but yeah, looks good. 156 million. So nice. That is very, very good news for Webull as yet another quarter of revenue growth to chalk on the board. What happened today? What a roller coaster. It indeed was a roller coaster. I mean, it was just NVIDIA came in yesterday and reported their earnings. And then today just basically gave it back all the gains that they made. It was very nice to watch yesterday, but the markets just couldn't hold it. The markets just could not hold onto it. As you can see on my sector ETS list right above me. Yeah, I guess NVIDIA did not save us. But yeah, double beat on Webull. I'm seeing up here, it looks like XLP, TLT, and GLD were the only 3 green sectors. Webull going all-time lows after double beat. Yeah, absolutely unfortunate, isn't it? Oh boy. Yeah, we see we see a put support down here at 750. So maybe we'll see a support there at $7.50. Yeah. Absolutely brutal time if you've been holding on to Webull, but at the same time, maybe it's given better buying opportunities. Who knows? But for now, let's see. Yeah, I mean, their after hours movement is pretty wild. They essentially went up and came right back down and gave it all back. Definitely has been garbage as of late, but you know what else was garbage for the longest time? Palantir. Palantir, a lot of those, super small or just starting out stocks tend to have these periods when they first come out of just a lot of uncertainty and volatility. So you never know. You never know. Shorting to 7. Nice, nice. I guess I can go ahead and end that poll now. Everyone said beat. So whoever said beat, which is 88% of you, congratulations, you win. You don't win anything, but you can get a trial of TrendSpider for just $7 for beating that poll. Use the link down below. Just kidding. But what else are you guys seeing? Let's check out Intuit. See if anything's going on Intuit. Intuit has not moved at all. Intuit has not moved at all. Was there one other stock reporting earnings today? Let me take a look. There's actually a few stocks. So we have Ross, we have Gap, some of these retail stores. Let's take a quick look at, let's start with, and CPRT. Let's take a look at that one first. Yeah, insanely liquid, but it seems to be up. ROST, Ross Stores is green. Ross reported earnings today, and they're green about 2.8%. Not bad there. It looks like raises guidance good. Raises guidance. 2 reports of them raising guidance. EPS beat, sales beat, double beat on Ross. It looks like anyone is watching that. Gap, let's take a look at Gap. Gap really hasn't moved a whole lot, but it is up a little bit. Nothing insane going on over there. We also got VEEV I'm seeing. Interesting. Not any movement. Let's pull up Webull again. And by the way, if you guys are on TrendSpider, let me take a look. SoFi, I mean, SoFi is not reporting today. I can take a look at them in a second, though. But if you guys easily wanted to see what stocks are reporting earnings today, we do have an excellent market scanner that lets you do it just by typing something in. It's incredibly easy. Just say, find stocks reporting earnings today. Find symbols now, or just press enter. You can even just say it through your microphone as well if you have one on your PC or laptop. Yeah, something to do today. And then I'm going to search in just, I'll do the NMS composite index so we can see everything going on. Let's see what else. It looks like some very small stocks. ROST, of course. We saw Intuit. We on Bull, of course. But these are all the stocks reporting earnings today. VNet. I think most of the major ones we have already covered. SoFi, crazy move also today from 4.8 to minus 6.7%. Yeah, that is a crazy move. Actually, I have some SoFi, so let's take a look at that because I did see a pretty good move in there. Yes, we do not need to save that. If you guys are just joining in, Webull did post a double beat. So congrats if you're in Webull, but the stock price has moved up a little bit, nothing insane. But also make sure to hit the like button and subscribe because we're going to be continuing to go live throughout the next few months here, at least throughout the next month. And yeah, let's see SoFi. Remove these gamma levels real quick. Turn off after hours data. So as you can see, SoFi, another fintech, so it's pretty relevant, has been absolutely crushing it on their earnings, but is testing a support level here on the weekly / daily chart of around, I guess, 25. I would call that. It is right there at it. Did have a little breakout above this pivot level, kind of reacted right here around September 29th. And then now we're retesting it again. Maybe we'll see the stock trade back around the 20 to 22 range down here, or maybe even break 20 down to this pivot level. We will see. But overall, I mean, SoFi has been interesting. This is their entire chart from inception. Obviously, they started around 10. I think they were a SPAC. Traded kind of weird. Did the same thing everything did, or all these small caps did in 2022. Just absolutely was terrible to hold. Went down under $5 a share at one point. And yeah, ever since this breakout here in around October, has done pretty well, or I guess since the bottom of this year in 2025, around April, has been performing incredibly well. But now we're seeing some turmoil, I guess you could call it, in SoFi stock on the weekly. And here's the daily. So again, the daily, you can clearly see this 25 level is definitely something that the bulls are going to want to hold. Someone said they're holding 25 CSP expiring tomorrow. Am I cooked? Are you cooked? Let's take a look. 25 expiration expiring tomorrow for a CSP. Oh man. Well, it is under 25, obviously. We put on aftermarket data. Let's see. Yeah, you never know. You might get assigned. If you do, maybe you can get out. But for now, I wouldn't say you're cooked, but you're probably around break even, honestly, right now. So if we get any sort of bounce tomorrow, you're definitely not cooked. But if it continues lower, then I can. Yeah, good luck. And someone said they have a CSP on a 22 strike. I personally have recently sold a call on some SoFi shares that I own. I think I sold like a 40 strike or something like 49, something super high that I was like, that's pretty much, I hate saying free money, but at the same time, price target for bull. I don't have any price target for bull right now. I mean, they look terrible. I mean, let's see how the 1 minute chart looks. In 1 minute chart here, even on this double beat, yeah, they're not looking super hot. They're up like 2%, which is good. Bleeding is kind of stopping. No, honestly, it's kind of up. What did they close at today? They closed at 825 and they're sitting at 838. So they're definitely not slapped. But overall, they definitely are. I mean, there's not really even much technicals you can go ahead and do on this other than, yeah, it's just really got to find a base and it's got to find a base somewhere, it's just been bleeding for a while now. Yeah, it is pretty good revenue growth. That is impressive. I will give them that. It's a newer company. Have to dive deeper on their fundamentals. Let's go ahead and ask Sidekick. I'm going to go ahead and ask Karen. Maybe we'll get roasted a little bit. So I'm going to say, so Webull just reported earnings. They had a double beat and reported 156 million in revenue, which is, what was it, like around a 50% beat or so, and 0.0. They are profitable. They posted, I believe, 2 cents EPS, right? Let me double check. Let me double check. I'm seeing 2 cents there. I believe it's 2 cents. We'll just go ahead and probably go with that because it's not going to make a huge difference here in this prompt. And it looks like their customer assets and deposits are at pretty much quote unquote all-time highs from the small amounts of data that we have. Options contract volume actually did pretty well. Total revenues, you can see, I can see that at 156. Net income, $32.9 million in net income. That is an all-time high for net income from them. I'm just going to go with 2 cents. It doesn't matter. EPS. Give me your thoughts on this company, your bull and bear case. Very new competitor to Robinhood. How do they stack up? They seem to be growing decent, but the chart looks horrible. Tell me if you think it's a solid investment long term. Because be honest, guys, like if you're looking to grab Webull at these levels, it's hard to justify a trade. I mean, it's got to be an investment. 7 cents. Okay, that's fine. Just saw the comments. It's all right. Oh yeah, I was looking at the estimate. Whoops. That's fine. I said it was growth. It's not. It might pull in this right number as well. It's Karen, so she's gonna roast us either way. But let's see what Sidekick has to say. I mean, again, hard to justify a trade at this level unless you're just, buying a fallen knife with a stop loss, I guess. Not really my style, but you could do it. But for me, I would be looking to hold this thing long term. Yeah, you guys are right. It probably should be up more than what it is currently. Let's put up the 1 minute chart. But again, at least it's not down. At least it is not down. And if you guys are just joining in, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe so we can keep doing this live analysis for you guys. If you guys have any questions, definitely leave them down in the chats below. We have this awesome platform, which is called TrendSpider, that we are using to do all of this analysis. You can try it out for just $7 on our Black Friday sale today using the link down below in the description. And I will also drop the link in the chat below for you guys right now. And right now we're using TrendSpider's Sidekick AI to analyze. Oh my, did I just type in the wrong? I should have typed in the stock ticker. Hold on, redo this prompt. It doesn't even know what Webull is. I should have typed Bull. Such a new stock. So Bull. Now I can fix this 7 cents EPS. All right. Now that prompt will work. Stock is up 1 cent after double beat. I can't even. Hey, I mean, with how recent earnings have been, I mean, look at NVIDIA. They just posted like one of the best quarters, like it's like stock market history, and they're down how much today? I don't know what stock market history, but you know what I mean. It's pretty damn good. They came down 8%. And this is like a $4 trillion company. 8% is an insane move on $4 trillion, you guys. Oh, man. Take a look at Webull. Back here on the 1 minute. Now we got to put on after hours data. Here we go. Let's take a look at this double beat you're celebrating. Yes, Bull reported 7 cents EPS versus the 2 cents estimate, which is a good beat. It's saying they missed on revenue because it's having that weird data that I'm seeing here on Benzinga and some other sources as well. I'll try to reprompt it. But let's see. That would be what that must be. I don't know where that revenue number came in from. So let's just look at the bull and bear case right now. They're expanding internationally. South Korea partnership announced. That's interesting. They did relaunch crypto trading in August. And keep in mind, Robinhood definitely makes, what is it, 30% of their revenue, I think, from crypto trading. Positive EPS for the first time. They did flip from negative to positive, but again, that's only a few quarters. 2 analyst initiations with buy ratings. $18 to $19 price targets. That's pretty good. Much lower price to sales than Hood, which is good. And here is the bear case. So that was the bull case. Ignore this. They did just beat revenue. Guess they have heavy regulatory scrutiny. They paid $3 million to FINRA in 2023. A bunch of other things to Massachusetts and the SEC for compliance failures. Sounds about right. Revenue heavily dependent on payment for order flow, which faces regulatory threats. But so does most other brokerages, except for like Interactive Brokers. But yeah, 50% of their revenue from payment for order flow is pretty high. That's interesting. The founder is a Chinese citizen with 81.4% voting control. That's also interesting and a little bit sketchy. Obviously down 47% in 2 months. Everyone can see that. Zero pricing power in a commoditized industry. So basically compliance issues and super small compared to competitors, super reliance on payment flow, payment for order flow at 50% plus revenue. I would probably fact check that, but it was probably from a news article, so I'd assume that's probably right. And here's Karen's actual analysis. Is this a solid long-term investment? It says, are you kidding me? This company just reported, yes, ignore the revenue decline. They're getting hammered by Congress over China connections. They have a history of fines, and keep saying the revenue's collapsing. Here, I'm going to tell Karen what's up. Actually, that revenue number is wrong. They reported 156 million. Redo this analysis with that in mind. Take that, Karen. Let's take a look. Oh, they just died even more. Sheesh. Yeah, so they're looking okay for a little bit, but honestly, no, that's down 1%. Could be a lot worse, but I mean, there we go. There's the new data. Benzinga had to go ahead and correct itself. That's all right. Correction. Webull, 7 cents beats 2 cents. Sales beats, as you can see, 156 versus 135 million estimate. Benzinga shorted the stock. Yeah, I don't think that worked out for them though, because they were up on that false news. Now they're down on the better news when they got corrected. That's actually not terrible. All right, Karen might be a little bit on board now. The actual W, fine, you were right. And someone can blame me for the inaccurate information. You got to blame who the hell Benzinga for that one. Let's see. Let me show you the correct revenue trend. Look at that revenue trend. This is the Webull's revenue right here. That's pretty good. That's a nice looking chart. Obviously only 3 quarters, but I mean, you can't argue with that. Here's the bull case. Now the bull case is this 55% year over year revenue growth. First profitable quarter. Is it their first profitable quarter? I thought they did have quarter 2 profitable. No, it's hard to tell. Either way, they did flip from negative to positive. Crypto relaunch appears to be working. It was I was going to say it's a good time to relaunch crypto, but at the same time, Bitcoin crypto is terrible now. So maybe an AUG. So I probably did help them last quarter. Looking ahead, here's what I'm thinking, you guys. Looking ahead, crypto looks terrible. They make probably a decent amount of money on crypto. And probably, just the market's doing not as good could affect this as well. And this is looking ahead. Obviously, this last quarter, the market's doing well, but looking ahead, we'll see if we get a bounce here anytime soon, but the market was not super great. Yeah, I thought Q2 was profitable as well. Yeah, exactly. Bad time to talk about crypto. Indeed. But they do have those buy ratings at $18 and $19 targets and slammed around like a shit coin. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, not well on the daily charts for sure, but it isn't too bad on the 1 minute here. But yeah, still regulatory nightmare. Payment for order flow dependency. It's hard to say that. PFOF dependency, 50% of revenue from practice facing potential regulatory ban. Is that true? Are they actually thinking about banning PFOF? Maybe I'm just out of the loop on that. But at the same time, so many other competitors are making money from that. Probably not 50% of their revenue, but competing against Hood, which has 28 times the market cap. I don't think that's necessarily a bear case. I mean, obviously they're much bigger. It's definitely a tough competitor, but Hood, I mean, it's not bad. Again, they have potentially more room for growth. It's a higher risk, higher reward type thing. If growth stalls, stocks gets destroyed for sure. I mean, yeah. Let's see. Their price to sales is trading about 6, which isn't terrible. I mean, you see Hood there at 35. Obviously, Hood is a little bit of a different story, but still significantly cheaper on a price to sales ratio. Yeah, I've only heard honestly pretty good things about Webull, like their platform. I haven't heard too many bad things, really. Here's what you should be asking, says Karen. If fundamentals are improving, why is the stock down 47% in 2 months? That's honestly a great question, is it not? Regulatory overhang, China concerns, delisting fears. Yeah, I guess just general Chinese connected companies, just fears of that. Regulatory risk of PFOF, and market doesn't believe that growth is sustainable. So obviously just a kind of a sketch play. It's, it's what Karen is saying here. Here's her revised actual opinion, though. Maybe it's a solid long-term investment, but you better have a strong stomach. I honestly agree with these first two sentences. Fundamentals actually decent, but it's a big but. There are significant regulatory and geopolitical risks that can completely blow up the thesis. Again, exactly what I just said. High risk, high reward situation. The earnings already came out, Cash. They did a double beat. They looked pretty good. The chart looks horrible because the market is pricing in big risk, not the business is failing. It makes sense to me. I think that was a great spot-on analysis by Karen. But overall, I mean, yeah, solid. I think solid earnings announcement, at least on paper. Obviously, the stock price itself is not loving it. Let me see when they have an earnings call. Maybe they'll have something to say that will boost sentiment in the earnings call. 5 p.m. Eastern, which is 2 p.m. my time. That's in 30 minutes. I'll see if I'm able to stream it for you guys. If I can, I will. So you guys can take a look. Who out there wants me to stream the earnings call? Here, I'm actually going to start a poll right now. So right now, Webull is trading at what? $8.24 in after hours, a cent lower than it was. So I'm going to start a poll. I'm going to do, will Bull be trading higher than its current price of $8.25 by the end of the year? I just started a poll. Go ahead and vote. I'm curious to see what you guys say. The poll is, will Bull be trading higher than its current price of $8.25 by the end of the year? Already multiple yeses. Maybe that one was too easy, but at the same time, maybe it's not. Maybe it continues lower. So at the end of the year, market conditions are not looking good. If you pull up the SPY right now, you can see it was an absolutely terrible day. Maybe we're putting in a bottom. The poll is on YouTube. If you're on like one of the other streams on X or like the mobile version of YouTube, you won't see it. But we are getting some people voting, so it is out there. 27 votes. We got 86% of people saying yes, it will be higher. But yeah, so everyone is thinking it's going to be higher. Is that a good sign or a bad sign, you guys? Are you guys going to follow what everyone else is saying? I don't know. I mean, I'm more of like a trend follower kind of guy. And to me, this thing is dying. Let's put on a Shonday indicator. I think I'm going to use the Paraband. So if you look at it from a trend follower's perspective here, the only time that you could have considered a long was back here. Again, definitely wasn't a good time to go long, but trend followers, they don't buy the bottom, they buy strength, and that's what happened there. But the only other trades you can see from a trend follower's perspective here is a short back in June, which didn't last very long, just like June 18th. And then it is signaling a short here on Shonday's Paraband indicator. And it's still going short. It started a short, as you can see from the red painting here, on around November 4th or like November 5th when it rejected this line. And I believe this is your stop loss here at around 12. So from a trend perspective, it is obviously trending down. Turn off that after hours data. So yeah, maybe a good long-term investment. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, it's a terrible day to have an earnings call for Webull, isn't it? So dependent on retail trading and market sentiment. Maybe not so dependent, but pretty dependent. Is absolutely terrible day in the markets. Like, honestly, couldn't have picked a worse day. Not even gonna lie. But if you guys are still out there, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit subscribe. We're going to be live at least for probably minimum 25 minutes until the earnings call starts, and we can see if the stock starts to start moving at all. And if I can, I will stream the earnings call for you guys. Tom Lee says it's a glitch. There's one thing about Tom Lee is that he's never wrong. Been seeing a lot of Tom Lee lately. Bull shareholders, the unluckiest ever. Yeah, it's not great, is it? What else are you guys, when you guys trading? You guys in hood? You guys hood bulls out there? You SoFi? I've heard a lot about SoFi today. Yeah, there's going to be a call in about 24 minutes for Webull. By the way, you guys, when is our next live? Our next live is going to be next week for Dell earnings, so make sure to tune into that. You can ensure you do by hitting subscribe and turning on the notification bell. And look at that. We're getting a little bit of movement to the upside from Bull. We're right back above where we closed at. We're at $8.28 now. Everybody, 81% of people think it's going to be higher than 825 by the end of the year. Let's do a better poll. Does that, I mean, from the current price, it's hard to vote against it being above this. Again, it could easily continue to slip, but let's see if anyone thinks that there's going to be a breakout. Does anyone think it's going to be above 12 over the next few months? Let me start a new poll. Let's start a poll. Will Bull be above $12 over the next 3 months? Say at any time over the next 3 months. So here's the question, you guys. I'm going to draw a horizontal line on my chart on TrendSpider here. $12. Is Webull going to be over this line? Whoops. Let me make it bigger and put it to 12. Is Webull going to be over this line anytime over the next 3 months? This one's a little bit trickier. Is it going to have a little technical pivot breakout over the next 3 months? We're getting 73% of you guys saying yes. Make sure to cast your vote. I think Bull definitely can spike that much. Yeah, maybe it does have a catalyst. I mean, here, that was a 40%, 50% spike in a week. How much do we need to get above that? Maybe I'm tripping. That's 24% from now. I think Bull can move. I think easily Bull can move 24% in 3 months. Easily. Sure, it might require a catalyst. How? I mean, what happened here? Let's ask Sidekick to chart some news events. On my open bull chart, tag mark any big news events since the company's inception into the stock market. Mark any major news events on my chart for bull. So really make sure. Yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't need a catalyst. But I do think 24% move on Webull is definitely a possibility. I mean, if we, hold on. I mean, we got all these option levels even. We got call resistance at 15, 14.99. So even the options market, it puts support zero. That's 0T. That's interesting. But we have the options market with plenty of levels up here. And here's some news events. So right here looks like they got a crypto relaunch plan. That's the catalyst that caused this. Sure. Crypto hourly trading. That's interesting. 1 billion standby equity. I'd have to look more into that. Visa partnership was pretty cool in May. So yeah, all these came with the catalyst. You are absolutely correct. Visa partnership here. Crypto relaunch plan. And by the way, I just did this with Sidekick, you guys. You can just tell to plot, these catalysts right on your chart. Looks like there's a buy rating here right at the top. Classic. Obviously, Q3 earnings beat down there. Let's see what it says. What is this? On July 3rd, the $1 billion standby equity agreement announced, stock rallied and then declined. That's never a good sign, you guys. In my opinion, when you get these catalysts and the stock just rallies and comes right back down, it's never a good thing when you see that. Never a good thing. But I don't know. Let's check out where the money is flowing. Got my bubble chart up here. As of late, you can see XLV, healthcare, XLE, XLE and XLV over the last 7 days have been getting rotated into and are green over the last 30 days. Yeah, diluted shares, also a terrible sign. And then we got bonds and staples up. So market is rotating right now into staples, mostly healthcare. Mostly healthcare. So I pull up XLV right now. They actually are down on the day. As you can see, over the last few weeks or few months, really, healthcare has been getting some gains. XLE kind of, sort of, not really. See how bonds actually went up today for once. They bounced off a support, it looks like, on TLT. And staples, wow, staples actually been doing pretty terrible, but getting some movement today. Lots of movement. XLP was the leading sector ETF on my list today. One of the only ones that's green, along with TLT. So risk off sentiment today, obviously. REGN and NVO. REGN, I think, looks pretty damn good right now. I actually took a trade on this myself. I think their chart is kind of sick. And with money flowing in over to more of the healthcare sector, I think it's a decent look. Nice little breakout. Maybe it's getting a little late to get in now. They're testing this pivot level right here at around 750-ish. So definitely, I mean, you can already see the wick starting to form right there on this weekly chart. What else are you guys looking at? So be careful about getting in probably there. But NVO, let's take a look. I think NVO is in. I love pulling up this chart and seeing this Christmas tree. Cracks me up every time. Yeah, let's draw some lines on NVO. Why not? Put on log scale here. I mean, pretty obvious. Oh my God. I don't want to delete this Christmas tree because it's just too beautiful. But I do want to see this drawing. But as you can see, there's a level here that got reacted to multiple times. If I put on our Mentor Q gamma levels indicator, let's take a look. So around 45 to 46 is that low. And what I'm actually going to do is use the historical version of end of day. That's going to show us gamma levels for the last few days, and we'll see if there's any lining up there at 45. So as you can see, there's like this definitely tons of put supports there at 45. Tons of put supports there at 45 lining up at that pivot level. Does TrendSpider automatically plot key levels? You can have Sidekick plot key levels. It's not like the best use case for it because it just takes a snapshot, but it definitely can. It actually does work decently well. Maybe I'll have it do something here on, let's not do NVO. Let's do, what chart do you guys want to see key levels plotted on? Let's check out UNH maybe. UNH is interesting. What else do you ask about on NVO and REGN? Let's try it on REGN. Turn off my line. Let's see if what we can do here. Again, this isn't the best use case for Sidekick. Let's plot. Oh, yeah, it's actually one of the quick prompts. I'll just click this. Plot the key levels and technical signals on my current chart. Let's see what it does. Sounds good. We'll see you back for the earnings call. And look at that. 79% of you guys said Webull will be above $12 at any time over the next 3 months. So maybe we'll get a bounce. All right, here's what Psychic had to do or had to say for key levels. That's actually it looks pretty good. Let's take a look for REGN's key levels right here. Man, this is actually pretty nice. Look at this. Major breakdown. You can see that it plotted this major breakdown level pretty good. That's a pretty obvious pivot level there. And it even annotated the chart pretty well. It put the all-time highs at 1204 in the previous trading range, little zone up there. Had a consolidation zone painted. Current price at marked, and then a recent rally of 28%. It's pretty useful stuff. Major breakdown. So this is what Sidekick can do automatically for you. So that's pretty nice. Honestly, that is really good. PayPal. Is PayPal bottomed? I don't think PayPal is ever going to bottom. Everyone's looking at the non-log charts here. Oh, I guess it's still pretty obvious that it's not. But, I think PayPal's, a decent investment, but it's just been so terrible lately. I don't know what is causing it. Let's do the same thing on PayPal. I'm going to combine these two prompts. Give me the bull and bear case and plot the key levels. Make sure it's on a good time frame here. These are practically useless at this point. Let's see what Sidekick has to say about PayPal. Going to do a lot of the work for us. It's going to plot the key levels on the chart. It's going to tell us the bulls and bear case of PayPal. Okay, so it focused on the recent movements, which is cool. Plotted a resistance zone right here. Pretty accurate. Pretty accurate. Let's get this. Strong resistance, 77 to 79. That's a nice little zone. Accumulation zone, that's pretty sick. And obviously a resistance up there. Current support of 58 to 60. So it's basically at support right now. And then a critical support down there at 50. Yeah, for sure. If it goes ahead and breaks this, can't extend left. If it breaks this line, I mean, we're going back down here to 45 or something, even lower. Let's see what else it has to say. Here's the bull and bear case of PayPal. Obviously, technical breakdown in progress. Hold on. Technical breakdown in progress. PayPal is currently trading at 58. Failed breakout pattern. Declining volume on rallies. Yeah, that's a good point. Declining volume on rallies is very true. Once it starts rallying here, let's take a look at the volume. It's pretty important to watch. You can see there's a lot of selling volume on these red candles, but not always that much, at the tops there. So that's a good point. The prompt is very simple. I just said, give me the bull and bear case of my current open chart symbol, and then plot the key levels and technical signals on my current chart. I think these are the default prompts as well. They're in the quick prompts right there. You can just copy and paste them. Yeah, sure. I can share it. I think they're built right in, but here you go. Down in the chat. Let's see. Looks like a downgrade on October 13th. Not that long ago. Payment transactions down despite volume growth, indicating margin pressure. Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of analyst downgrades. We can use our analyst indicator. Analyst estimates history, I believe. Got a couple of them. Oh, we already had it on there, I guess. Whatever. Interesting. 66. What does this say? Yeah, so the targets are actually, sell signals, but most of the targets are still above the current price, which is interesting. And yeah, the last spike they had was that OpenAI partnership announcement with ChatGPT. But again, got sold off almost instantly. A new dividend initiated. A buy now, pay later promotion driving engagement into holidays. UPI partnership, first PayPal world partner, multiple target raises post earnings. So yeah, I mean, they definitely have some good stuff going for them, but man, it's just been terrible. Just been terrible. Just went into short zone on the trend following indicators. You would have caught a short down there. It's trending pretty nice in early 2024, but oh, look at this. It actually plotted some news events too. You see the let me get this. The OpenAI partnership was right there. PayPal Canada launch, or paying for Canada launch. Therese maintains sell rating and a buy now pay later deal, but nothing is keeping this one up. I can't tell you what to buy or sell. People are asking Adobe and CRM bottomed ? Let's go take a look. Wow, Adobe. Honestly, that's an excellent prompt. I love this prompt. It does pretty damn good, doesn't it? Just for fun, I'm going to use Karen. Let me make sure. Remove these just in case. So yeah, super easy prompts. Give me the bull and bear case of my current open chart symbol, and then plot key levels and technical signals on my chart. Someone just call me Amit. Yeah, we were live for Webull earnings. We already went over Webull earnings. Yeah, double B. Yeah, you're exactly right. Yep, Webull earnings are great. We're just waiting for the call at this point. The call starts in 7 minutes. The numbers came out a bit ago. So we're just chilling, looking at some other stocks. Let's take a look. So we got an earnings beat, minus 20% drop follows. It's not all-time high, but it's a recent high. 465 resistance, December pop. Post earnings rejections, key support zone down here. SEMrush acquisition. I totally forgot they acquired SEMrush. That's kind of cool. It's like a marketing SEO tool. Let's go to the daily chart. So, I mean, I'm not much of a bottom fisher, you guys. This is not something that I normally look to play. But I mean, I guess it's not a bad time to dollar cost average, maybe. But the trend is clearly to the downside. And it's saying this is a key support zone. Maybe it is. I'd say it is, yeah. I mean, it does line up with this pivot over here. So I think it's a pretty good support level. If it does break under 300, I think it's going to look really bad. Maybe, under 300, it's going to be hard to get back above all these pivot levels that were made historically, but no. ESTC. Someone is talking about. Yeah, big move down there. Not even sure what this is, but wow. Yeah, down over about 12% from the closed. Absolutely, the trend is your friend. And right now, unfortunate as it is, look at that daily candle. QQQ, man, look at that. Look at it. We got a left shoulder ahead and a right shoulder drawn on our chart here, and it's currently breaking the neckline. We do have this wick support down here at 582.04. This is absolutely going to be the level we want to look at here. What's the high here? 583.32. And this low was 582.04. So if I just draw this, so do that. I think that's going to be the line in the sand here for the Qs. What do you guys think? Should we do a poll? You guys think the Q is going to bottom here? Let me know in the chat. Start a poll. Is this the QQQ bottom? Just start a poll. You can see clearly on my chart here, I'm asking, is this the QQQ bottom? Oh man, there's no one voting yes. One yes. Everyone cast your vote. Let me know. Do you think this is the QQQ bottom? No specific time frame, just like over the next few months. We'll check out MRK right now. Everybody seems to be saying no so far. And if you guys are just tuning in, we already went over Webull earnings. The earnings call actually starts in 3 minutes, but Webull did post a double beat. Looked pretty good growth-wise for Webull. And also, make sure to hit the subscribe button and like so you can continue joining our future lives. We would love to see you guys come back. And make sure to vote in the poll I just put out. Let me know if you think this is the bottom of QQQ. Yeah, so it looks like 82, 83% of you guys said no. Unfortunate. I honestly thought a lot of people are going to be saying yes. But, man, maybe we're going to get lower. Let's check out MRK before that earnings call starts. Yeah, not bad. Starting to form a little uptrend here. Have to take a closer look at this one. Looks like their revenue is okay. Pretty stable. Their most recent quarter was pretty good. EPS growing for the most part. Yeah, I don't hate this at all. I do see some potential resistance there, but other than that, it did break out. It's been making these lower highs. Let's take out the daily. Looks like there's some sort of, is that like a bear flag? Remove these for now. But overall, we're getting some lower highs in, some big volume on the buys, big volume on this breakout from this pivot level. Over here, another big volume driven breakout. Looks decent. Looks decent. Earnings call start. Let's take a look. Let's see if I can get it live for you guys. So I seem to have the call up. It is 2 Pacific time. I don't hear anything yet. I'll let you guys know. Then I'll let you guys listen in on the call. NVTS. I'll take one last look at that one. Yeah, I appreciate you for joining the stream, Mike. Make sure you hit the subscribe button because we do stream all the time now. We have some awesome guests on as well. We're going to have guests, bunch of cool guests coming on. We got Tushar Shande coming out. We got Trading Wars. We had Matt Caruso on for the Palantir earnings. We had the Go No Go, Alex Cole from Go No Go. And yeah, some more. So here's the earnings call. I'm going to actually turn on audio real quick.
Questions. To ask a question, you may press star, then 1 on a touch-tone phone. To withdraw your question, please
So I
press
didn't really
star,
get a
then 2.
chance to look at NVTS
Please
very
note,
much,
this
but
event is being recorded. I would now like to turn the
tune in for
conference
the
over
next
to
one.
Carlos Questel, Webull's Head of Investor Relations. Please go ahead.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to Webull's third quarter 2025 conference call. Earlier today, we issued a press release detailing our third quarter financial results. A copy of the release can be found on our IR website at webullcorp.com under the Investor Relations tab. Please note that this call is being recorded and will be available for replay via our IR website. During the call, we'll be making forward-looking statements about the company's performance and business outlook. These statements are based on how we see things today and contain elements of uncertainty. For additional information concerning the factors that can cause actual results to differ materially, please refer to the cautionary statement and risk factors contained in our filings with the Securities and Exchange Commission and press release, both of which can be accessed via our website. Today's presentation will include a discussion on adjusted operating expenses, adjusted operating profit, and adjusted net income, all non-GAAP financial measures. Reconciliation of these non-GAAP financial measures to their most directly comparative GAAP measures are included in the press release that we issued today. It's important to note that although we believe that these non-GAAP measures provide useful information about our operating results, they should not be considered in isolation or construed as an alternative to their directly comparative GAAP measures. Furthermore, other companies may calculate similarly titled measures differently, limiting their usefulness as comparative measures to our data. We encourage investors and others to review our financial information in its entirety and not rely on a single financial measure. With me today is our Group President and U.S. CEO, Anthony Denier, and our Group CFO, H.C. Wang. We will begin with prepared remarks and then take questions at the end. With that, I would like to turn it over to Anthony.
Thank you, Carlos, and hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Webull's third quarter results demonstrate continued momentum and growth in what remains a highly favorable market environment for our business. Our Q3 results reflect this environment, but also our global team's continued ability to achieve our goals, which drove strong results across almost every metric. Strong corporate earnings, interest rate reductions, and rallies in technology and AI stocks have driven robust market conditions, with the S&P maintaining near record levels throughout the quarter. This backdrop, combined with our ongoing technological innovation, product expansion, and increased access across geographies, continues to create significant opportunities for our customers worldwide. Webull is exceptionally well positioned to continue to capitalize on the global consumer shift towards mobile-first trading. We're executing well against this favorable backdrop. This quarter marks significant milestones in product diversification and geographic expansion as we continue to see high growth across our platform on the heels of our public listing. We successfully reintroduced crypto back to the Webull app and expanded our offerings in the space to include crypto futures trading. We also introduced sports prediction markets through our partnership with Kalshi and are on track to achieve a major international milestone as Webull Canada will soon become the first non-US brokerage in our group to reach 1 billion in assets under management. And just last week, we launched Vega, the latest evolution of our AI-powered decision-making partner, which will enhance the investor experience by providing personalized insights and analysis to inform trading decisions for our users. These offerings are already leading to meaningful ROI. We're seeing strong adoption among both new and existing customers as the platform successfully re-engages dormant accounts through compelling new products. During the quarter, we brought crypto trading back to the Webull platform and brought Webull Pay back into our group, which added 1.2 billion in AUM and over 140,000 funded accounts. Now over 50% of new funded accounts are trading crypto. We will continue to meet investors where they are and increase our share of wallet by introducing them to our expanded products and solutions over time. Our differentiated offerings, including direct deposit enablement and the launch of corporate bonds, continue to set Webull apart from competitors. With each new product, we continue to strive to be the one-stop platform for traders looking to get the most personalized and agile investment opportunities on the market. I'm proud of the Webull team for the innovation and execution they've demonstrated in reaching these milestones. We've reached another important milestone in our journey as a public company with the expiration of all shareholder lockup restrictions on October 8th, which significantly increased our public float, further enhancing our market liquidity. With that, let me now walk you through the key highlights from the quarter in more detail. Here on slide 2, I'll walk you through our third quarter highlights. We delivered another strong quarter for Webull shareholders, with the year-over-year revenue growth significantly outpacing increasing operating expenses, driving solid margin expansion for another quarter. We recorded top-line revenue of $156.9 million, representing 55% growth year-over-year, driven by 4 key factors. First, customer assets reached an all-time high of $21.2 billion, inclusive of the $1.2 billion in assets from the acquisition of Webull Pay, marking the 3rd consecutive quarter of AUM growth. Second, equity trading volume surged for the 3rd straight quarter, up 71% year-over-year. Third, our on-time delivery of new product offerings, including crypto futures and prediction markets, enhanced stickiness and new user growth. And fourth, we continue to broaden access to our leading platform across new and varied geographies. We recorded adjusted expenses for the quarter of $120 million, representing a year-over-year increase of just 13%. Our increase in expenses was mainly driven by increased brokerage and transaction expenses, reflecting higher trading volume, as well as higher general and administrative expenses, driven by increased compensation and bonus accruals reflecting headcount growth and stronger than expected performance. The increase in G&A expenses was partially offset by a lower marketing spend. Lastly, we delivered a 4th straight quarter of operating profitability with a strong 28.7-point increase in adjusted operating margin on a year-over-year basis to 23.4%, representing adjusted operating profit of $36.7 million for the 3rd quarter. We continue to focus on execution and margin expansion, reflecting our commitment to delivering sustainable growth and value for our shareholders. Turning now to slide 3 and our 2025 roadmap. We continue to enhance our existing product offering while executing against the ambitious roadmap we outlined in Q2 to support our growing customer base and expand market share through new offerings and geographies. We're particularly excited about the launch of Vega. Vega is an AI tool that combines news, earnings, and technical data to deliver a focused, intuitive experience that helps both new and seasoned investors navigate modern trading and make smarter decisions. Other key features of Vega include statistical insights for options trading that showcase investment opportunities and voice commands for placing trades as we continue to enable accessibility on our platform. As we continue to broaden our offerings to solidify our position as a one-stop investment platform for retail and sophisticated investors, Vega will play a crucial role in enabling further consolidation as investors gain powerful insights across their portfolio of equities, bonds, crypto, and more. Webull Premium, our subscription-based service for active traders and long-term investors, has now reached 90,000 subscribers, a 20% increase from just last quarter, and is tracking well ahead of our internal target of 100,000 subscribers by year end. Our premium offerings have been further bolstered by the introduction of corporate bonds during Q3. Corporate bonds provide customers with low-risk investment opportunities and steady yields while also facilitating asset transfers from traditional brokerages, positioning Webull as the one-stop platform for sophisticated investors. I'm excited to discuss the launch of prediction markets on our platform. Through our partnership with Kalshi, we've introduced sports prediction markets covering NFL, NBA, NASCAR, F1, and college football events. This offering provides an engaging and accessible trading experience that lowers barriers to entry. The results have been exceptional. More than 30 million prediction contracts were placed in October, nearly twice as many as were placed in September, over half of which were sports contracts. As I stated previously, the return of crypto to our platform has delivered instant results and has become a significant driver of funded account growth. While we currently offer crypto trading to our customers in the US, Brazil, and Australia, we will continue expanding crypto offerings across geographies and are actively exploring digital asset licenses in numerous other markets. Finally, our expansion of products available internationally continues to progress. During the quarter, we launched our Webull platform in the EU, beginning in the Netherlands, and anticipate launching in additional European markets over the coming months. We also entered into a strategic partnership with Meritz Financial Group to offer US market access to Meritz customers in South Korea. In addition, Level 3 options trading is now live in Singapore and Hong Kong and is set to launch in Japan imminently. And we're excited to continue to scale and reach even more global customers as our product offerings continue to grow. We have now over 700,000 funded accounts outside the US, and we continue to prioritize delivering US products to international markets and building diversified revenue streams globally. On slide 4, I'll discuss our growth in both users and funded accounts. During the third quarter, we added roughly 1 million registered users, bringing the platform to a total of 25.9 million registered users, a more than 3 million increase from the third quarter of last year, representing a 17% increase. Importantly, that 1 million increase also represents a large sequential increase, showcasing that our product and geographic expansion is driving robust user growth. Webull was originally launched as a global market data platform before evolving to become the leading digital investment platform we are today. As a result, we have a significant number of registered users in geographies where our trading platform is not yet available. We are committed to offering access to best-in-class market data and information to everyone, whether or not they currently have a brokerage account with us. On the right side of the slide, you can see funded account metrics. Funded accounts, defined as accounts where customers have made an initial deposit that has remained above zero for 45 consecutive calendar days as of the record date, showed healthy growth. We added approximately 200,000 new funded accounts this quarter, inclusive of accounts onboarded through our acquisition of Webull Pay, bringing the total number of funded accounts to 4.93 million, a 9% year-over-year increase. As we continue to innovate and enhance our offering, we're also happy to report that our quarterly retention rate remained high and grew slightly on a sequential basis to 97.7%. Turning to slide 5, as I previously mentioned, Webull customer assets reached an all-time high of $21.2 billion, inclusive of $1.2 billion in assets from the acquisition of Webull Pay, representing an 84% increase on a year-over-year basis and a $5.3 billion sequential increase. The growth in customer assets reflects strong momentum driven by favorable market dynamics and robust deposit activity. Our customers deposited over $2.1 billion during the quarter, a 31% increase year over year, bringing our cumulative net deposits over the last 12 months to $5.9 billion. On slide 6, I'll provide an overview of trading volumes for the quarter. While we're always looking to expand and enhance our product offerings, growth in our core products also continued to accelerate. Our equity volume increased by 71% on a year-over-year basis and 26.7% sequentially, totaling $204 billion. Our options contract volume was $147 million in the third quarter. The associated revenue continues to outpace contract volume growth after implementing a new pricing model in the second half of last year, and we are pleased to see the continued results of that initiative with a steady increase in the monetization of our options business. We are now midway through Q4 and are on pace for further growth. October was our best month ever in terms of customer deposits, trading volumes, and revenues, and our new products are driving increases in market share and the consolidation of users' portfolio onto the Webull app. With that, I'll pass the call over to HC for a closer look at our financial results for the quarter.
Thank you, Anthony, and thanks to everyone for joining us today. Slide 7 shows that in the third quarter, Webull generated revenue of $156.9 million, up 55% year over year. Adjusted operating expenses for the quarter came in at $120.2 million, an increase of 13% from a year ago. We continue to take a disciplined approach to balancing execution costs and operating efficiency as we continue to scale the business, and we are pleased with our continued margin expansion and profitability. On the following slides, I will walk through the components of revenues and expenses in more detail. Now turning to slide 8 on our profitability performance. As Anthony mentioned earlier, Webull has now recorded its 4th consecutive quarter of operating profitability. In Q3, adjusted operating profit reached $36.7 million, our most profitable quarter ever, representing a 28.7% improvement in adjusted operating profit margin year over year. Adjusted net income for the quarter was $32.9 million, up $38.6 million year over year. Adjusted net profit margin improved 26.5% year over year, reaching 20.9% of revenue. Turning to slide 9, our trading-related revenues continue to accelerate, supported by higher trading volumes across all asset classes and improved monetization, particularly in options. Momentum from the second quarter carried through to Q3. Daily average revenue trade increased 56% year over year, driving a 64% rise in trading-related revenues. On a per-trade basis, revenue increased to $1.53. Turning to slide 10 on interest-related income, this category includes interest earned on client and corporate cash, as well as revenues from margin financing and stock lending activities. In the third quarter, interest-related income grew 32% year over year to $43.4 million, driven by higher interest earning balances across all categories: corporate cash, client cash, margin lending, and fully paid stock lending, reflecting the continued growth of our client assets. Finally, let's turn to slide 11 for a closer look at operating expenses. As a high-growth business with meaningful operating leverage, we expect operating expenses to increase as we scale, but at a much slower pace compared to revenue growth. In the third quarter, operating expenses grew 13% year over year, primarily due to higher brokerage and transaction costs associated with rapid growth in trading volumes and product expansion. General and administrative expenses also increased, reflecting headcount growth and higher bonus accruals tied to stronger than expected performance. These increases were partially offset by lower marketing spend as we continue to optimize our marketing and branding strategy. We remain committed to maintaining expense discipline while continuing to invest strategically in innovation, customer acquisition, and wallet share expansion to capture sustainable long-term growth opportunities. Now, thank you, everyone. With that, I will turn the call back to Anthony before we open the line for questions.
Thanks, HC. This was a record quarter for Webull on many metrics, including revenue and funded account growth, marking an exciting new chapter for our platform as we successfully unveiled innovative product offerings, including crypto futures, sports predictive markets, and our AI-powered decision partner, Vega. We remain energized as we continue to deliver our product roadmap for U.S. and global investors. I want to recognize the global Webull team for their continued dedication as we continue to grow our platform following our public listing in early 2025. We look forward to engaging with you at several upcoming industry and investor conferences. On that note, we welcome any questions you may have, either here on the call or one-on-one.
Thank you. We will now begin the question and answer session. To ask a question, you may press star, then 1 on your touch-tone phone. If you are using a speakerphone, please pick up your handset before pressing the keys. If at any time your question has been addressed and you would like to withdraw your question, please press star, then 2. At this time, we will pause momentarily to assemble our roster. And your first question today will come from Kareem Saif with Bank of America Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
Perfect. Okay, well, congrats on a great quarter. My first question is on prediction markets. It was very nice to see you guys added sports contracts to the offering. So, Anthony, I was wondering if you could maybe help size the revenue opportunity for Webull from the prediction markets offering, as well as maybe share some of any of the economics that you have with Kalshi.
Sure, happy to, Kareem. Yes, so many people don't know this, but we've been partnering with Kalshi since the very beginning of the year. We just recently got into the sports prediction markets at the beginning of the NFL season, late August, I believe, for Thursday Night Football. And the prediction market pre-sports has seen some really nice growth as we did SPY hourlies, NDX hourlies, some major Fed events. But the sports numbers have been completely blowing us away, right? And we've all seen the headlines and how much growth we've seen from Kalshi and Polymarket on a notional value. We're seeing that lockstep, and the value of offering these sports predictive contracts are multifold the way I look at it. Right? And we announced 30 million contracts in October. We're already now halfway into Q4 on the 20th of November, and that number is completely gone. We're blowing that number away already in November, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a month-on-month growth at over 100% on a pretty consistent level. Now, the opportunity from a monetary standpoint is different with every partner that Kalshi has. So we do charge a 1 cent commission to our clients that are trading per contract, and we also get an exchange rebate from Kalshi. And the blended rate comes in anywhere between 1.25 to 1.5 cents per contract on the revenue side. That being said, I don't think it's merely a revenue catalyst for our business. These sports prediction markets are re-engaging dormant accounts, right? And it's also addressing a completely new TAM of customer. And so, if we have customers that might have came on the platform in 2021 during GameStop, the world opened up, they got quiet, right? Life got in the way, and they weren't actively trading. Now they're back because of these sports prediction markets in a big way. And it's a great way to re-engage customers that have gone dormant. It's a great way to address a whole new addressable market of clients. So very exciting time for our industry. And I do think prediction markets are going to be something that's going to continue to push us not only on new customer acquisition, but product expansion.
Got it. That was very helpful. Thank you very much. And then for my follow-up, so obviously it was very nice to see, and I believe you called it in your prepared remarks, net deposits in October were very strong. Was the best, I believe, like, the best months for Webull. But when I look at net deposits in 3Q, very strong also, 2.1 billion, which I believe, like, when I look at it as a percentage of your AUA or AUC, it's like almost 53% annualized. So I was wondering if you could maybe help unpack that a little bit for us. Where are you seeing that strength coming from? If you could maybe unpack it by geography, that would be very helpful.
Absolutely. So one of the great advantages we have versus a lot of our peers is the fact that we are truly a global platform. We have 14 broker dealers that are currently operating around the world. The US is the largest and the oldest, but we just opened up the Netherlands in September, went live in 2025, and we continue to look to expand. That expansion and us taking significant market share, not only in the US, but outside the US, is one of the great drivers for that AUM growth, right? So we took in 2.1 billion of net deposits in Q3 alone. That's not including the acquisition of Webull Pay and the money we received as part of the AUM in that acquisition. And I would put it on two different catalysts for that impressive net new money coming in. One is the evolution of our marketing style. So we have been evolving our marketing over time, and we've seen a lot of success and great ROI on our incentive transfer programs. So offering like sticky money to roll over 401ks into Webull, where we're offering matching deposits, extremely successful in bringing new AUM into the platform. And then back to the geographic expansion. We're seeing huge growth in markets like Canada that we didn't announce is about to cross 1 billion in AUM alone in that market. That's only, call it 20 months old at this point. We have other locations that we're seeing huge amounts of growth, like Australia. Of all places, Thailand is growing it's doubling on a quarter-over-quarter basis in terms of what we're seeing in transaction. And that's a recurring theme that we're seeing outside of the US. As we start expanding on US products outside to the non-US entities, we're seeing the customer demand for US products really push new customer acquisition and new AUM coming into the platform.
Got it. That was very helpful. Thank you so much for taking my questions. I'll hop back in the queue.
The next question will come from Steven Chubak with Wolfe Research. Please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, and thanks for taking my questions. So
Hey, Steve.
Hey, hope you guys are well. So wanted to ask a multi-parter just on expenses and margins. So we saw really good expense discipline in the quarter. Total revenues were up 55%, adjusted expense up 13%. So an impressive incremental margin just north of 75%. I wanted to understand the sustainability of those incremental margins, just given myriad opportunities to lean in on the investment side. And then for the second part, given the comments you just made, Anthony, around the marketing strategy, why not choose to lean in a little bit more in terms of marketing spend, just given the strong momentum in 3Q in October? I recognize the high ROIs. That was the one bucket that actually saw declines year on year. So I wanted to better understand how you're thinking about the opportunity to lean in there as well.
Sure. No, happy to pick that up. So when we look at our customers being able to transfer assets in. We're constantly improving on the product and the rails for them to do so easily. And when we think of margin expansion, we are very cognizant that we are in an extreme growth phase of our business. So right where we are now in the mid kind of 20s of margin, I think is extremely healthy for a growth company. And we're going to continue to deliver on that. I can hand it over to HC for a little more detail on the actual margin and the expenses side.
Sure. Thanks, Anthony, and thank you for the question. Yeah, so for us, as you can see that we've consistently maintained our adjusted operating margin around 20% for the last 4 quarters. And so we are constantly optimizing and adjusting, how we're approaching expenses. For example, marketing. I think you asked about why not over-invest in marketing when the market is good? I think in a certain sense, we are very opportunistic. We actually do a lot of work and review on a market-by-market basis to see where we get the highest ROIs in terms of our marketing dollars. But we also want to be smart about, investing and the forms of different promotions that we take. And so we have, over time, shifted more from giving away free stocks to customers to more of these like asset matching promotions. And as a result of that, we are seeing significant increases in net deposits in AUM growth. Another result of that is there's a greater amortization of marketing expenses. So it's not just given away immediately when the customer fund their accounts. The customer would have to deposit AUM and maintain their AUM for a number of months before they accrue and earn the whole marketing spend. So actually that helps us in managing expenses, to make the marketing expense more predictable quarter over quarter, which I think is a good thing in terms of managing the P&L. And also for the for the G&A expense, I think a lot of it is just proportionate to our headcount growth and to our continued investment in R&D as we continue to enter into new geographies and expand products. So we'll continue to remain disciplined and manage our expenses to make sure that we continue on the right path of margin expansion and continue to capitalize on this market environment and continue to drive growth.
That's great color. And for my follow-up, I did want to ask, given the relaunch of crypto in the U.S., how your crypto strategy might evolve now that you're getting that second at bat, and specifically wanted to better understand where the crypto pricing is today. Do you see an opportunity to potentially be more aggressive in terms of take rates to attract more users, and how you see that pricing evolving over time as competition intensifies in the space?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that question. Extremely excited about the relaunch of crypto, and I appreciate you mentioning it's kind of our second at bat. We had crypto and we launched crypto back in 2019. Through the process of trying to get our company listed, previous administration, we spun it out to Webull Pay. We brought that crypto back to the brokerage platform, the main brokerage platform, back in August, kind of like a light speed project, if you will. And so I look at it exactly like that. This is our second opportunity to really knock it out of the park. What does that mean for us, right? So we're still in the early innings of crypto, at least crypto offering on our platform. I think we lean into the sophisticated fact of our active trading user base. And so right now we have approximately 100 basis points. Coinbase retail is about 150 basis points. I know some of our competitors use a variable model based on the actual token itself for pricing. And we are going to aggressively lean in to squeezing those take rates to attract active crypto traders. Now, timeline on that business is probably going to be early in 26. I have to be careful on guidance. But when I think about it, we have an amazing opportunity to relaunch our crypto product with a whole new vigor that attracts the customers that call Webull home. Sophisticated, experienced, and active retail traders. We are going to cater our crypto trading product specifically to them. As we roll out especially new products in the crypto world, I don't want to give up too much on this call. We'll be announcing a lot of major new additions to our crypto offering to get us on the same level playing field as all of our competitors. Once we are on that playing field, we're going to aggressively take those active traders from our comps.
That's great color. Thanks so much for taking my questions.
The next question will come from Mike Grondahl with Northland Securities. Please go ahead.
Hey, thanks, guys. Anthony, can you talk a little bit about the merits announcement and kind of the opportunity you have there globally? And is merits the first? Do you have other customers internationally you're helping like that?
So Merits is the first publicly announced, but not the first. And when we say Merits, we're talking about institutional customer bases or B2B business, which is a completely new line of business for us. We have been 100% focused on retail since we launched in 2018. Now we're spending a significant amount of internal resources and a significant amount of focus on targeting B2B partnerships in geographies where we don't currently operate a broker-dealer. We're even talking to B2B partnerships to institutional type partners in places where we actually do have a retail platform. Having said that, none of this revenue is yet even factored in to our current models and our current growth. And so the future, so Merits is an example of getting access to South Korean retail without having to have a South Korean retail brokerage license. We're going to continue to focus on opportunities like that. And in my opinion, the institutional side of our business, which is just beginning, Merits is the first announcement on a very long list of clients that are in the pipeline. That's going to be a huge boom for not only for our market share, but for our top and bottom lines.
And when would you expect Merits to go live? Has it started? What does that timeline look like to ramp up?
So typically, institutional onboarding takes much longer than retail onboarding, right? We can open up a retail account in minutes, and our retail customers can typically trade within 5 minutes of downloading the app. It's very different for institutional. There is a lot more checks. There's a lot more approvals, sometimes even up at the board level. That being said, we are currently live with Merits. We are currently trading on behalf of their clients' orders. And as we continue to grow the relationships, that the amount of flow that we receive from Merits will continue to grow over time.
Got it. And then just lastly related to that, where will that revenue show up? Is that other revenues or in the equity and options line?
So this is actually one of the fun parts. So the revenues actually show up in our transaction volumes. So even if we see a slowdown in U.S. retail trading volumes, our trading volumes will continue to tick up because we're onboarding a lot of these B2B relationships. So it's going to be baked into the transaction revenue mixed in the equities and hopefully in the next several months options. Currently, we're trading equities only with Merits.
Got it. Hey, thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Next question will come from Chris Brendler with Rosenblatt. Please go ahead.
Hey, thanks. Good evening, and congratulations on the strong results here. I'd like to ask about the funded accounts, which ticked up I know even if you back out the crypto, you did see a nice tick up there. I know there's been a little bit of a refocus of your marketing strategy towards assets over accounts, but given the gap between registered and funding, I'd love to see that close a little bit. So how are you thinking about funded account growth as you head into 2026? Thanks.
Sure. Hey, Chris. Well, funded account growth, in my opinion, we're going to see. So we're going to start seeing a lot more attribution coming from outside of the U.S. Like we mentioned on the call earlier, we have more than 700,000 funded accounts now that are outside the U.S. And we've seen the momentum and onboarding of funded accounts outside of the U.S. Basically, for the last 6 months, it was about 55%, 50%, right? 55% of new funded accounts coming from the U.S. Broker, about 45% coming from outside. That number is now completely equalizing, and we're at about 50-50. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing new funded account growth outpace outside of the U.S. outpace funded account growth in the U.S. I believe that's going to be the continued driver as the 13 broker dealers that we operate outside the U.S. start to really mature. If you remember, the first brokerage outside of the U.S. we opened was Hong Kong in Q3 of 21. The second one wasn't until Q2 of 2022, which is Singapore. We just opened our latest one in the Netherlands in September of 25. So these are all relatively young businesses that are in hyperscale mode. And so we're going to see a lot of low customer acquisition costs, new funded accounts really being driven from outside the U.S. And in the U.S., we're going to continue to focus on quality of our customers.
That's super helpful, caller. Thanks so much for that. I wanted to add a quick follow-up on numbers. Does crypto or prediction markets have any impact on third quarter metrics like DARTs or trading revenues? And will those kind of transactions show up in those metrics in the fourth quarter?
HC, you want to take this?
Yeah, sure. So we actually closed the Webull Pay transaction at the very end of the third quarter. So what the third quarter metrics includes is the AUM and funded accounts that were consolidated as part of the transaction. What's not included is the revenues, the transaction volumes, and the DARTs, because those take place over the course of the quarter. But the transaction did not close until the very end. But they will start to be included and presented as part of the consolidated group results starting in Q4.
Okay, great. That's helpful. And then I just have one more quick one, which is on Vega. It seems like this is a product that would help attract folks to your platform and potentially stay there longer. Any insights on the initial impact of Vega and on the expense side? Is there an ongoing expense for running this AI that you're outsourcing, or is it all developed in-house so there won't be much additional expense?
Yeah, so the Vega AI launch is not only a huge thing for Webull. This is the future of investing, right? There is so much news flow, so much information at all investors' fingertips. Often it's like drinking out of a fire hose. Now, we've created in-house, to answer that question, we've created our Vega AI trading assistant. Not only analyzes your portfolio, but can advise you on high levels of risk and give you insights into implied volatility in some of your options positions. Right? This is a game changer for the industry. And so because we developed it all in-house, there is no increased cost, and the user engagement has been phenomenal. We're seeing tens of millions of engagements of Vega, whether it's for actionable trading through the Vega AI trade assistant or just analysis of earnings or consolidation of news. And every day we're seeing more and more engagements, and we're seeing regular engagements, meaning we're seeing users come back to Vega regularly. And I believe that this is now the beginning of a whole new way that retail engages in their own portfolio and accesses market information and market opportunity.
Wow, that's great. Well, I obviously need to try it out. Thanks so much.
The next question will come from Brian Vietin with Cybert. Please go ahead.
Great. Thanks, guys. Anthony, so nice pickup in funded accounts this quarter. I think you said 50% of new accounts are trading crypto. Does that include the Webull Pay folks? And then looking ahead, could you speak to the opportunity in converting existing Webull funded accounts? Just curious on that, as I know your customer demographic is younger and digitally native. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly right. So the average Webull customer is in their young 30s. So very, very crypto native. And it really pained me back in September of 23 when we had to strip out our crypto offering from our brokerage platform. Our customers were not happy with it. So bringing it back was imperative. Now that we have it back and we have the opportunity not only to knock it out of the park with a better offering of crypto, especially for our customer type, we've been seeing great engagement for crypto native customers either coming back to Webull or discovering Webull for the first time. So like you mentioned, 50% of new funded accounts, 50% of them, the first trade they made was with cryptocurrency on the Webull platform. Those are not customers coming over from Webull Pay. Those are new customers to Webull in and of itself, simply because we now offer crypto. So we're going to continue to lean in to that type of customer. And like I mentioned before, make sure we give the tightest spreads and the best trading experience for the customer that calls us home. And that's the active, sophisticated type.
Very good. Thank you. And then just one more, if I may, just on the future listings. I think at one point the plan was to get to 100 by year end. I'm not sure if maybe there's some, it's a little contingent on some of the regulatory dynamics, which you alluded to, but just the complexion of those future listings, are you envisioning more so, listing established crypto protocols or, kind of newer tokenized assets where you might be more differentiated? Just any commentary on the listing strategy would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, one of the fundamentals that we've always held here, whether it's crypto, it's equities, it's options, again, prediction markets, we want to give our customers the availability to trade as much as we possibly can offer. If that means, so you mentioned 100 as a number. I don't want to go on record and say we're going to have 100 different tokens available to trade by year end, but that certainly is our goal. Having said that, when we look at the opportunity for crypto, it's more than just offering new product types. It's offering a better experience to do so. So yes, just the short answer is yes. We plan to have as many different opportunities and as many different offerings on the platform as we possibly can bring, and we plan to really lean into making sure our customers feel that this is the best place. Webull is the best place to trade.
Thanks, Anthony. Congrats on a great quarter.
Next question will come from Edward Engel with Compass Point. Please go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for taking my question. Appreciate some of the color you gave about funded accounts outside the U.S. Just kind of wanted to get a better sense on maybe some of the localized features that you're offering in some of these markets and kind of where the roadmap is, whether it's tax wrappers or savings accounts or local banking connectivity. Thanks.
Sure. So it really depends on the region. We've always had a single mentality here. We have one global vision, but we make sure that we execute locally. What does that mean? It's simply every Webull broker dealer that we have, 14 around the world, has a local team. It's not an American that's sitting in London. We have a Brit sitting in London, running the office there. There's a reason for that. Not only do they have a better feel for what that customer needs, they also have a better opportunity for local marketing, how to differentiate. That being said, a lot of those businesses are still relatively young, and we're constantly adding new products. Things like tax wrappers, for example, IRAs in the US or ISAs in the UK. I'm in the UK, maybe too much. But as soon as we have the regulatory approval to add those products, we always do. And for the most part, there are 2 or 3 exceptions, but for the most part, every Webull entity will trade the local security in that country, as well as give customers the ability to trade U.S. products. The one example I can think of is Indonesia. There is no license yet in Indonesia for our Indonesian customers to trade U.S. securities. However, hopefully that'll change by year end. That all being said, we see the majority of transactions happening in our non-U.S. entities. The transactions are happening in U.S. products. And that goes back to things I've been talking about for the last year and change. The exportation of the U.S. retail trading experience is one of the largest growth factors that I believe we're going to see in the next year and a half, right? Especially when it comes to retail out of the U.S. We have seen the adoption of not only obviously ETF trading outside the U.S., but options trading specifically. For example, customer sitting in New York City has a position in NVIDIA yesterday, coming out with earnings at the close. And we have a customer sitting in Japan, also with a position in NVIDIA. They're looking at the same news flows. They're listening to the same podcasts. They're watching the same Reddit feeds. They're reading the same comments on the Webull community. Yet a lot of times they're not able to trade the same products. We're changing that. Now our customers in Japan can trade calendar spreads, can put on a condor, right? That doesn't exist for the most part outside of the US. And we are working very hard to make sure that we export that US retail investor experience to everywhere outside the US, which is one of the main reasons why we're seeing such amazing growth in our non-US brokerages.
Great, appreciate that color. And then, I mean, I guess quarter to date, we have seen a bit of volatility in the U.S. equity markets. Curious if you're able to provide any color on, I guess, how your users are kind of holding up through some of that. Thanks.
Sure, I think uniquely Webull, we are extremely well positioned for a rising VIX. Our customers, I mean, we've been offering the ability to short sell since the first day that we launched the platform in 2018. Right? Our customers, again, I keep saying this word sophisticated, I keep saying this word experienced. When there's volatility, our customers are trading more. And so just the past couple of weeks, we've seen explosive volume due to volatility. And I think Webull is probably uniquely positioned to weather volatile markets a lot better than our peers. That, of course, being said, long-term volatility is never amazing for a cyclical business, but I believe as a platform, we are accelerating into this volatility in the short term.
Great, thanks for that. And then, yeah, congrats on all the recent progress.
Thanks.
We'll conclude our question and answer session as well as conference call. Thank you all for attending today's presentation. You may now disconnect.